Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Fridays from the Farm with Farmer Chris. This week's video is ultra special, and it's special for a variety of reasons. One, I'm just so pleased to be able to show you the hard work that we've been accomplishing on our farm. But two, we have the privilege of replicating. That second location is going to include a farm. The straw you see is all covered forage seed for the goats. It's the goat barn, the glorious storage shed. Goat forage will come up, but we'll also keep our beehives there. Goats will live here. Back in here is some garden space that I'll show you a little bit later. Really grateful for the cottage home neighborhood for sharing in this community with us and for using this space to provide another opportunity for the students of Indianapolis to learn, to grow, and to be cared for. Stick around for some Keeping Up with the Coop, Curious Corner, and Jokes with Robin. Y'all take care. Changed my mind. We're going to add a new segment called Process and Product. Last week's included a weather segment. This one will too. Still hot, cloudy. Segment over. So I know for a lot of people getting started in their garden, usually there's this feeling that soil needs to be purchased, that this beautiful, rich, dark black, nutrient dense soil needs to be purchased from the store, but sometimes that's cost prohibitive and you might not have the budget for it. And so it's really important to know that you can do work with what you have. And so you can see here in our cottage home garden that topsoil has been put on, but because there's no ground cover, there's no cover crop, the pressure from rain just disrupts the literal physical structure of soil. It knocks the air out of it. It brings some of the larger substrate up to the top, and so we get a lot of these rocks sitting on top. And it's super hard. I mean, I can't put my finger down into it. And so imagine a plant trying to root itself. And so in this space, what we'll do is we'll come in, we'll grade, we'll set in our boxes, and then we'll plant some cover crop after breaking up some of the soil top, and that cover crop will really dig down into the soil. This is the first step. It's a big project we've got ahead of us. Sometimes we often think of the process being kind of separate from the product or the process leading into the product. And this is an awesome example of process and product mixing together. So the brown that you see here, this mulch cover is buckwheat that had previously been growing in the bed. You can still see just a little bit here, and it's now interplanted with okra. And so the buckwheat grew up, provided cover for the soil in the time that something wasn't growing. It was then cut and left to lay on the soil surface. So again, maintaining weed suppression. And then a little space was created and okra was planted. And so just a great example of a process-product relationship that has a lot of fidelity and has a lot of purpose for what we do here in the garden. So you can see throughout this space just a bunch of dry straw laying on the ground. And that's a barrier to prevent the sun from drying out the soil too much, as well as give coverage to the ungerminated seed that's sitting on the topsoil layer. So right now we're in a very specific watering cycle where we let sprinklers run for about 45 minutes to an hour in the middle of the night to capitalize on saturation, allow it to absorb into the soil, and then avoid the evaporation that can occur on a hot day. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Keeping Up with the Coop. There it is. Hey everybody, welcome to another Curious Corner. So this one was actually an experiment that kind of causally happened at my home, but I thought I'd share it with you here because it fits nicely with this week's theme of process and product. And so I have an onion that we purchased from the store. We noticed that it had begun sprouting. Get outside, plopped it down in the soil. And it was interesting. And then there was a companion to it that had also done the same thing. But the results were much different, or the process you enter into doesn't always result in the product that you desire. And so my curiosity this week is, have you ever entered into a process that the outcome was not the product you desired, wasn't the outcome you desired? The other onion that grew did this. So the process was the same, but the product was noticeably different. So again, I'm curious if you've ever entered into a process where you were expecting a product of one kind and you ended up getting a product of another kind. So yeah, I thought I'd share this with you all because it piqued my curiosity so much. I hope it does the same for you. Y'all stay curious. I know it's hard to believe, but I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.